So today we've got the handover for the Autotrail Tracker FB. Start off in the cab. Underneath your passenger seat you've got your vehicle toolkit, and under the carpet you have your engine battery. Bonnet release is on the end of the dashboard. So when you lift the bonnet, you've got a yellow tab just in the centre. Over on the left hand side you've got your access for your screen wash, brake fluid, power steering and radiator coolant, oil filler, and then the dipstick is down the front of the block. If you need to jump start the vehicle, there's a plastic cover that you lift up, attach the positive onto that section there, and the negative goes onto that little bolt just there. On the driver's side of the vehicle you've got two external lockers. First one goes in underneath the diner area. Located in the base of that you've got your leisure battery. Underneath you've got the waste water outlet, so that's the onboard tank collecting the waste from the shower tray, vanity unit and kitchen sink. It's activated by you turning the lever on the side, so it's in a closed position at the moment. Turn it through 90 degrees to the horizontal and it will allow the wastewater to discharge. Your mains cable is plugged into the side. It's a storage locker that goes in behind the back of the L-shaped kitchen layout. An external port for something like a shower fitting if you wanted to do that. And then your freshwater drain point is down at the back here. Above that, your toilet cassette. Fresh water comes from the onboard freshwater tank, so it's just the cassette itself that you need to worry about disposal of. Extend the spout out, remove the grey cap, tip the whole container up and press the orange button at the top. That allows the waste to discharge out of the base. And then before you go back in, there's a measuring cup inside the top of the cap, up to a capful of your base chemical. Up here in the Highlands we recommend that you use green solution, a couple of litres of water, give it a little swirl around and then load it back into the cassette ready for use. Spare wheel access, there's a locking cap on the back. If you unscrew this completely you can take the whole hexagon off, and behind it you'll see the mounting points for the spare wheel. There's a locker which goes underneath the French bed at the back. In here you've got your awning pole and awning pole support brackets. Also on the floor just inside the garage door you've got your drain valve for the water heater. So for winter storage this needs to be lifted into the vertical position so that the content of the water heater can discharge, purge and prime the system through with the valve in the horizontal position. It's external mains socket as well that can be brought through and underneath the door if required. So the awning is an omnistor or a seal awning. So tee up into the slot and then twist the awning out. It's advisable to have the caravan door shut when you're doing this. Wind it out to a midpoint where you can reach the legs, which is secured up inside the helmet. They're spring loaded, so if you push in just slightly you should release the leg down onto the floor, foot flat, and then when you get it down and lock it into position just push back on the lever nice and firmly and it should hold it into position like so. To retract it back in, fold the lever back in and then back up onto the other side and back into that. There's an external fill point for your fresh water, so you open up the little cover like so, hose pipe straight in, and then you can fill up the onboard fresh water tank. There's a 12-volt point above the water fill neck. It's possible to purchase a submersible style pump which connects into there and enables you to pump the water caravan style up from a static container. Adjacent to that you have an external gas barbecue point to allow you to take gas directly from the cylinders that are on board. Ventilation for the room heating, water heating system, so make sure that's not obscured in any way if you're operating it on gas. And then the ventilation for the back of the fridge. And then the other side of the habitation door you've got your gas locker fitted with a 6 kilogram propane cylinder. There's standard on-off valve on top of the cylinder, and then you've got a single crash sensor point. Push in, hold in for a couple of seconds, and that generally resets the crash sensor. So when you come into the van, in the airline locker just behind the driver's seat, you've got this Sergeant control panel. It has a master system shutdown button, so if you turn the system on, that will enable you, whilst you're driving, to charge the leisure battery, which is in the back of the vehicle, and enables you to access the control panel above the caravan door as well. Below that, you've got a bank of 12-volt fuses for the internal operation of the van. And on the opposite side, you've got your mains RCD switches. Push up on the blue switch, carry out a test by pressing in the yellow switch, should trip out if the supply is safe for you to use, and then across on the individual grey switches to bring the rest of the main supply into the van. You'll notice above you've got a green and an amber light, one for the battery charger, one for the master for the mains electric element to the water heating, room heating system. If you're on the continent, you might see the red light come on, indicating reverse polarity. Up inside the airline locker door, you've got your menu for the fuse holders. Above the caravan door, you've got your 12-volt control panel. So tap anywhere on the screen and it will re-engage the panel. If you take a square from grey to blue, then it will usually activate it. So you've got ones here for the interior lights, one for the water pump, fresh water, and battery level indicators showing you what state your batteries are in. You can use the settings mode to activate things like the smart system, so it selects which battery is going to be charged, and also for the mains and the lights and the adjustments onto those. The water heater is also up on this control panel up here. When you first turn it on, you'll see a series of characters up along the top. You will need to prime the water system, so you will have need to sort of 3/4 filled the onboard fresh water tank and drawn the water back through the system, back through the water heater with the yellow valve adjacent to the water heater shut. When you come up and select onto these, you've got your room heating, water heating, your power supply in terms of being gas or electric, and a fan control. If you want to turn the heating on, for example, then tap on the button, select the desired temperature, and it will engage the unit. This flame symbol may start to flash at the top, indicating that it's warming the vehicle up. Once the flame symbol becomes a solid symbol, then it indicates that it's reached that temperature within the vehicle. To turn it off or turn it down, go back into the menu option and deselect it if required. It's a similar story with the water heater. So you have an eco mode, which takes the water to around about 40 degrees, and a hot mode, which will take the water up to around about 60. And again, you'll see a similar flashing symbol on the top line if it's trying to attain that temperature. We're going to continue heating the water. At the moment, we've got it set on the gas mode. We want to change that now. So you have some additional choices. You can change it to a pure electric setting. If you're on a low amperage site, you can run it from a single spark. It's about a 900 watt element, or alternatively an 1800 watt element if that power is available to you by using the electric 2 setting. If you are wanting to boost it on a cold day, then you can use a combination of both the electric and the gas together, either on the higher electric setting or on the lower electric setting. Finally, there's a fan control. With the heating system on, so finally, sorry,
Go.
Finally, you've got a fan control on the far end. If the heating system is switched off, then you can just use it as a recirculatory fan. So select onto it, turn it to the vent mode, and you can increase or decrease the speed of that internal fan. With the heat mode on, then it will, and you'll see the circulation fan there. With the heat mode on, you can also increase or decrease the speed of the fan as well in conjunction with the thermostat setting. Down at the bottom, you've got a timer control. If you choose to use this, you'll need to set the clock up as well. So adjust the time accordingly. And then go back into your timer settings. Set your start time and your finish time, and then set the functions that you want to use, either the water heating or the room heating. Finally, there's a settings button, which also includes a reset mode, should you need to use it if there was a problem. You do need to make sure with this particular control panel that you turn off this control panel first of all, and then turn off the 12-volt control panel thereafter. If you do it in the opposite order, it causes additional faults to occur. Your fridge is a 3-way fridge with an automatic setting on it as well. So it's in the automatic mode at the moment. Tap the fridge button, touch the touchscreen one, and you'll see that you've got the A and the mains, indicating that we are connected to the main supply. You can override it by selecting different setting modes. In this instance, it's trying to draw power from the engine battery. The engine is not running, it's not available, so it's flashing up an error code. And then your gas should be automatic ignition. Thermostatically, you can adjust the temperature by pressing the second square over up to a maximum setting. And then there's also a mode for defrosting the fridge as well. After a few seconds, this top panel fades away. You can verify that the fridge is on by looking at the small green light that's located just here. If it becomes a red flashing light, then the sequence that you have chosen may not necessarily be available to you. To turn the fridge off, press and hold on it for a couple of seconds, and that shuts it off. Inside the top of the fridge door and the freezer door are little tabs, and they can be extended out for winter storage, just to prohibit any mildew from building up inside the appliance. So you've got a cooker with an electric hob. So if you plug it in onto mains, there is a separate little isolator switch that may need to be turned on, that's marked up as oven, just at the top of that box. When you do turn it on, you should see a little red or orange light come on just to there, and that hot plate will start to get hot on mains connection. The rest of the hob is gas operated, so electronic igniter, push and hold in for a couple of seconds, and you should be able to go through the individual burners accordingly, like so. Make sure before you fold the glass down that the hob is sufficiently cooled. You haven't got the hot plate on, as it may cause these to shatter. For the operation of the grill, it's the left hand at the center dials, and again push on for a couple of seconds for it to prime through. And over on the right hand side, you've got your gas control for your oven, and also a little oven light as well. Underneath the oven on the left hand side, you've got your individual isolator taps for the individual appliances. They're all in the on position. If you rotate them through 90 degrees so the diamonds are horizontal, then you'll isolate that specific appliance. With the water pump switch on, you should be able to draw water through the system. With the Comformatic box, make sure your foot is on the brake pedal when you start, ignition on, and then you've got lever positions, so you can push it up and forward into a neutral position. Middle will then operate your gears. You'll either see an auto and a 1 symbol indicating that you're in the automatic mode. If you tap the lever to the left hand side, you'll see the auto disappear, and that puts it into a sequential mode, so you'll need to use the gear lever to change up or change down the gearbox. Press it over again and you can restore that automatic mode. Reverse, back and down, and you'll see your reverse onto there, and you'll also get your reversing camera image appear on the center console. Steering wheel controls and stalks, wipers and lights are on the top 2 stalks on the left and right, and then you've got your cruise control and speed limiter on the lower left hand stalk. Radio controls and telephone controls are in the center of the wheel. Over on the driver's door, above your electric mirrors, you've got your, above your electric windows, you've got your electric mirrors. You can adjust and turn the toggle to the direction of the mirror that you want to maneuver. To the right of the steering wheel, you have your headlamp beam adjustment as well as your rear fog lamp. Central controls, you've got heated mirrors, you've got the ability to lock the habitation door and caravan door, and you've got the ability to lock the central controls. You've got electric heated mirrors. You've got the ability to activate the central locking, which will also activate the habitation door. Has a lamp switch in the middle, and then a hill descent and a traction control on there. Also for the gear change, there's a weight limit control as well. So if the vehicle is increased in payload, this will alter the gear selections and down changes. USB port and aux ports are connected up to the center head unit, and then your ventilation controls are in the center with the speed and temperature and air conditioning to the left center. So that concludes the handover for your Autotrail Tracker FB. Sincerely hope that this van's going to give you lots of miles and lots of smiles, but you can always contact us via the website or by telephone if you need any more information. Enjoy your new van. Take care.